Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those who are new, welcome. My name is Monica. For those who are not new, welcome back. It's great to see you here again today. And I am going to be highlighting the brilliantness of Carly Robbins, who's also known as CJ Bloom. Since we're going to be doing the Flight and Glory series read along next month and in August, I wanted to talk about Carly Robbins. She narrates a lot of Rebecca Yarros's books. So, and then she narrates all but one of those books in that series. So if you didn't know, she has Carly Robbins, under her name, Carly Robbins, has a few books coming out on, in this month, next week actually, The Flat White Fatality, which is book 3 in the Ground Rules mystery, is coming out, as well as Willow Leaf Lane, which is Rayanne Thane. I probably said her name wrong, but that's also coming out this month. In July, she has Kiss Me by Samantha Chase. That's coming out. She is going to be narrating with Teddy Hamilton in An Unlikely Event by Rebecca Yarros, and that comes out on August 1st. Then she has The Christmas Cabin, which is coming out in October, but under CJ Bloom. She narrated Resist by Ava Harrison. She just came out with 3 Strikes in Your Mind by R.S. Gray, and she also narrated that with Teddy Hamilton. Blurred Lines is coming out this month. It's actually coming out this week on June 13th. So you will see this the day after this one comes out, and that she is going to be narrating with Troy Duran. She's also doing Text Appeal by Amber Roberts, and that's coming out in August. My Temptation, which is T.L. Swan, that's coming out August 29th, and it's a new series called the Kingston Lane series. I am gonna just go ahead and pre-order that right now. Okay, I am glad I looked. Okay, anyway, but those are some of the ones that that are coming out. She's also done the Takeover, the Stopover, and I love those books to pieces, with the exception of the last one. The last one was not the best, but I loved them. So I love Tristan and Jameson Miles. I know people don't like Jameson, but I do, and that's okay. She's done a lot with, like I said, with Rebecca Yarros. She's done a lot with Laura Landish. The book that I do want to talk about is a Laura Landish book called The Truth, and this one is her best friend's dad. He's a silver fox. He's billionaire. He's the boss. He's the CEO of the company, and in the first book, The Dare, she was like, yeah, I want to have sex with your dad. And her best friend was like, yeah, la, 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 la. Anyway, it's a bit of a rom-com, but here's the thing about this book. So Tiffany Young has loved, well, I wouldn't say loved, she's had a crush on Daniel Stryker's forever, and she would always make these jokes about how she's going to be her best friend's stepmommy and stuff, and that was in the first book, The Dare. However, here's the thing. The reason why this book works so well is he kind of repressed his feelings for her until one night she went out and got a little too drunk, and she called him, and he came and got her, and he was like, yeah. When she became older, he started noticing how beautiful she was. But anyway, they knew that they were treading on thin ice with their relationship. But the thing that worked well with this book was the fact that they both communicated. There is a trope that a lot of people don't like. I'm going to spoil it. It's surprise pregnancy, but I don't care. I loved it. It's great, and I don't care. But also, when her best friend finds out that those two, that Daniel and Tiffany, are in love, she's like, she helps plan the wedding. I mean, how great is that? Like, it wasn't a big deal to her best friend. She's like, yeah, you make him happy, he makes her happy, but she's staying out of any type of squabble they have because she doesn't want to lose her best friend. She's very devoted to her dad, who has been devoted to his daughter for so long. So he's been a very controlling man for himself. Like, has a lot of self-control. His diet is very regimented. He's very regimented. And Tiffany brings out this playful side in him, and he tames her a little bit, and it works so well. And he's a silver fox, and I'm just like, the cover isn't the best. We could have put Wandered on that, and that would have probably worked better. I'm not gonna lie. If you don't know who Wander is, go look him up on Instagram and you'll thank me later. Anyway, so yeah, I love that book. It was one of the reasons why I started reading Lauren Landish. I know a lot of people have read The Kiss Quotient by Helen Hoang. Here's the thing with this book. Stella Lane has autism. She is very analytical. She has some really bad sexual experiences in the past. So she wants to be able to have a meaningful relationship. So she hires Michael, who is a male escort. It was a teach me book, and I am a sucker for a good teach me book. He teaches her that the guys who came before him were not meeting her needs in such a way that it traumatized Stella. And I loved how slow it was, and I loved how both Michael and Stella opened up to each other. And Carly Robbins did such an amazing job. I've listened to this book more than once. She's just such a fantastic narrator when we're listening to how Stella is and how she grows as a character. And Carly Robbins just really brings it out. So that is one that I absolutely love, and I wholly recommend that if you haven't listened to this audiobook, you really should. So I mentioned earlier in this video that Carly Robbins works a lot with Rebecca Yarros. I'm not going to talk about the Flight and Glory series. I want you guys to either read it or to listen to it. I highly recommend the audiobooks, and they are on Hoopla. But I'm actually going to talk about Muses and Melodies. This is the third book in the Hush Note series. The first book is Lies and Lullabies, and that's by Serena Bowen. Then it's Riffs and Refrains, which is Devney Perry. And this one actually has the highest star rating on Goodreads out of the whole three. So Muses and Melodies follows Nixon Winters, who is the lead guitarist in the band Hush Notes, which the series follows. He just got out of rehab, and he has to have a babysitter named Zoe. She wants to be a band manager. She's the assistant to the band's manager, but she wants to manage her own bands. So this is a way of her building her career. However, he doesn't want a babysitter, and he has a lot of demons and stuff that he is working through. And they go to a small town, her small town in Colorado, to keep him away from the press and away from groupies who are willing to give him drugs and alcohol and to keep him clean. And this is forced proximity, and they work. It wasn't more enemies to love or rivals to love, is that they had to learn to understand each other and how to work with each other in order to get the music written and to keep Nixon clean. He has to stay clean for at least 6 months. It's such a good book. This one is actually my favorite in the Hush Notes series. I know there are people who prefer Riffs and Refrains, which is fantastic. I love Riffs and Refrains. But this one, the one thing about Rebecca Yarros is she'll make you cry. She will make you cry. This one's no different. This one makes you feel. She can pull the emotions out of you. So I highly recommend that if you haven't read the book, read the book. But I think you should go ahead and just listen to the audiobook. The co-narrator is Tim Page. She works a lot with him on Rebecca's books. So yeah, definitely go check that one out. The next book that I do want to talk about, and I read this one, I want to say earlier this year or late last year. It has been close. Let me look on my Goodreads. Yeah, I read this one last year, and it was on my favorites list for 2022, and it's My Life in Shambles by Karina, Halle. And this one, he's Patrick, and her name is Valerie, and oh my gosh. Okay, so she goes on vacation to Ireland. She meets Patrick, who is a rugby player. However, he also has been keeping a secret. He has been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. They meet at a bar on New Year's Eve, and their relationship begins as a fake engagement, but it ends up into a beautiful love story. They actually develop a friendship, and as they support each other. She has a lot of stuff that happens in her past, and it's just, their story's so authentic, and Carly Robbins did such a fantastic job. This one, I do believe she narrates My Life in Shambles under Carly Robbins, and Richard Sawyer is the co-narrator, and they both just did a fantastic job. Carly Robbins narrated with Teddy Hamilton Powerless by Elsie Silver. She narrated as CJ Bloom, though. This is a friends to lovers book. Slow Nose had a crush on Jasper. They were friends when they were younger. He grows up to be a hockey player. She was a ballerina. She gets engaged to this guy, and his name is like horrible. It's Sterling Woodcock. And the amount of phallic jokes that went through my head at that name is astounding, okay? Yes, I will go there because that name, oh boy. Anyway, but that does not negate the fact that Powerless is actually a very good story. There isn't a lot of angst in this like there would be in Heartless or even Reckless. I just finished Reckless, which is a 5-star. Oh my gosh. So, but the thing is with this one, there could have been more angst. However, this is more of they were reintroduced to each other and they were finding each other's rhythm again, I guess you could say. And she picks Sloan, who's basically leaves her horrible fiance, Sterling Woodcock. Yeah, I don't want to get in trouble with YouTube. She leaves him, and now she's trying to pick up her life. And she has a lot of stuff to deal with from how bad her dad was, basically. And there was stuff in the past, the reason why Jasper and Sloan, because Jasper's always loved Sloan, and Sloan's always loved Jasper. But there was something that stopped them, and I'm not going to tell you what. The thing with Powerless, I actually really did love the story. The story was really solid. It was a good story. Elsie Silver, every single book that she has written, that I have read, and I've only read the Chestnut Spring series, I have really liked. But the thing with Powerless, this audiobook, is that CJ Bloom, who is Carly Robbins, and Teddy Hamilton, they work so well together. They play off each other so well. And they made me feel what the angst that Sloan and Jasper were feeling. There wasn't, like I said, there wasn't a lot of angst, but there was enough that it kept me coming back. I was like, okay, well, let's keep going. I want to see how this turns out. But I really loved the world. I really loved the characters. I really liked the storyline. What brought this book up for me, it probably would have been like maybe a 4-star or a 3.5 to 4-star, but it was a 4.5 star because I couldn't get over the name Sterling Woodcock. Yes, I still can't get over that name. Is Teddy Hamilton and CJ Bloom's narration. That was chef's kiss. Loved it. So it was a 4.5 stars for me. If it wasn't for Sterling Woodcock, it would have been a 5-star. But hey, to each their own. So the last one that I want to talk about, and this is a hockey romance. This is an older hockey romance. This came out in 2017, and it is book 4 in the Taking Shots series by Cindi Madsen. It's called Confessions of a Former Puck Bunny. I read this years ago when I was going through my hockey phase. I mean, yeah, I think we're all still going through hockey phases, but this one I really enjoyed. This one was about Ryder, whose nickname was Ox. His Maddox, he was an incredibly intelligent guy. He was a hockey player, very, very hot and sexy, yeah, but he was her math tutor. Lindsay was a puck bunny. She used to be a puck bunny. She's no longer a puck bunny. Her mom was a puck bunny, and it was a thing. She realized she didn't want that life. And so she really cleaned up her act and decided that she was going to really work at school and make a life for herself, not try to live off a professional hockey player like her mom tried to do. So Ryder Maddox was off limits to her. However, they end up falling in love. Now, her past does come up, and it does come up as a conflict in this. As they've gone through this school together, like this, because this is the college hockey romance. it would come up because she would date hockey players. That's how she started. Before she's like, no, I don't want that life anymore. And I loved how Cindi Madsen wrote Lindsay. I love how she changed from being who she was originally at the beginning. And that part was more off screen. This is more, or I should say off page. And then you have her coming in and saying, yeah, no hockey players, no. And then she meets Ryder. He starts tutoring her because math comes very easily to him, and they just get this bond. And I read this series in order, but honestly, this one is the best in the series. I loved this one. But since we're all in our hockey era right now, I highly recommend you just check out Confessions of a Puck Bunny. If you want to go through the whole series is a solid series, but this one is my favorite. But I mean, I recommend the series as a whole. The series is good. It's dated, and you can tell it's dated because things that was okay in 2017 is not okay in 2023 now. Although I feel like sometimes we're going back to 2014. I don't know. But yeah, no, CJ Bloom did a fantastic job. She narrated with Adam Werner, who I do not know much about. I might look him up. But yeah, this one was my favorite in the series. If you want to just read that one's a good one. If you want to go back and read all of them, they're all pretty good. But those are some of the books that I wanted to highlight that Carly Robbins / CJ Bloom narrated. I love her. I will continue to support her. She's just a fantastic narrator and a fantastic human being. Anyway, if you have listened to any of these audiobooks, please let me know down below what you think of them and Carly Robbins. If you have any suggestions or recommendations that I might check out, because I'm always looking for a new book that she narrates because she's fantastic. And if you have made it this far in this video and you want to let me know that you're here and you don't want to comment on anything else, please leave me a hockey stick emoji. And until next time, my friends, happy reading. Bye.